Since you brought it up, Kendra, can we talk about the tubes?
Yeah, so this is an NG tube. It goes straight to my stomach. So I learned that about 20 years old. This is just, I mean, we tried the jejunum one, so that one went all the way into your small intestine. It didn't really make a difference for me. The way that my GI tract works when I have a CVS episode is it almost mimics like a gastroparesis kind of thing. It just shuts off. It's done. It's can't handle anything at all. Um, so what we found is that the older I got, the more weight I was losing, and I didn't have much weight to lose in the first place. So it got to a point where I would be going, a week without real food. I'd have, applesauce and stuff, but I couldn't even hold that down. And we had to make a choice. And so we chose the feeding tube. We chose to try it. Like I said, I've had the NG, NJ, I've had it all. So we stuck with the NG. The NJ didn't really do any better. Sometimes I put real formula through it, so it's as if it's like a meal. But if I can't tolerate the formula during that specific point in my episode, I tend to use like a Pedialyte. I do like the liquid IV stuff. And then, I mean, I guess speaking about IVs, so I have a portacath. I used to go into the hospital every 3 months ish, 80, if it was 80 days back then, but now it's about every 3 months is when I have my episode. So every 3 months I used to be admitted for like a week or two. They would try to get everything under control. And I did that for years. And eventually I ran out of veins. Like my veins, they weren't accessible anymore. We did PICC lines for a few years. Those worked, but then eventually those veins weren't working for us anymore. So we went with a portacath, which I hated the idea of it. It's, this isn't invisible. And the nice thing about, not nice and nice thing about CVS is I can hide it. And I'll talk more about that in a little bit, because I did when I was that age, and pretty much from 18 months old all the way to college, I didn't say anything about it. Nobody knew I had it. When I'd have an episode, it was just, oh, she's homesick, or she has something she's doing. So when they gave me the feeding tube and the portacath, feeding tube came first about 2 years before. That was hard for me. The feeding tube was really hard for me. Yes, it helped. It honestly saved my life. I was wicked underweight. I couldn't walk. It was a mess. So I love my feeding tube, but I hated it because of that. You're out of the shadows now. You're not hiding on your own at home, and now other people know there's something wrong with you. And this isn't small. There's something sticking out of your face, and you have to walk around with a backpack and the tubes and the cords, and it gets messy. So it forced me to open up about it. They're both the best things I've ever done. Like I said, I was a special education teacher. And I can do that. I can actually go to work, and today my students are remotely, so that's even better, because I sat in my desk today and I hooked up, and I had an IV behind me with the feeding tube formula, and I was fine. Whereas normally I would be in the hospital, and since getting the portacath, I've been able to actually do all my IV treatment at home. I do all my IV medication at home. We access it at home, we flush it at home. So my care really went from being stuck in a hospital for 2 weeks to me doing it on my own, which is scary. It's scary, especially with a portacath, because they are such a high risk of infection and sepsis, and that obviously is not good. But the ability that they gave me to live without being tied down as much by CVS is incredible. So, I mean, definitely if anybody's on the fence about it, I would do it. Yeah, you're not going to look as like normal or invisible as you were before, but you'll be able to do things, and
Mm-hmm.
you'll be safer. I'm not saying I'm at a good weight
Mm-hmm.
right now. I'm still pretty underweight, but I've been able to maintain a steady, very slow, but very steady incline. So yeah, definitely. I mean, I love my tubes. I hate them and I love them at the same time. So
Mm-hmm.